So, I'm going to show you a little map to kind of give you guys an idea of how you're traveling here. So, wait, wait. Okay.
Soothing noises, Tucker.
So that should give you an idea of where you're at.
Are we?
You
Oh, we're the
are.
zoo.
If you look down south, there should be a little icon that's spinning that says zoo. That is the representation of you guys. So,
Awesome.
I'm gonna give you kind of like a description as you make your way to the golden throne here. So, first things first, you kind of walk through the rest of the Red Bazaar. You see that there are fresh meats ready to go. The prices have increased based on kind of like obviously people are bringing in the fresh catch and everything's new, and that's kind of typical market stuff for you. As you walk, you see that kind of coming to and fro from these markets, you see some medium and large sized dinosaurs hauling two-wheeled carts, just like of goods and other different types of products. It seems like that's their main mode of transport. You also, as you are walking, you see that there are like flowers and green plants and vines just everywhere, and they seem to kind of spring out of the buildings, which are made out of stone. You even get a chance to see some people, actually it's very common to see some people on scaffolding just trimming the flora from windows and roofs. The street is paved with cobblestone and flagstones, and there are these deep rain gutters. You would say about 2 feet wide, which is a decent amount. As you walk along, you kind of see that there are different walls that kind of separate the city. And as you pass under these different bridges and large archways, you see that they're painted with different murals of dinosaurs, mountains, and these mythic heroes. There's a tendency for these large geometric shapes and these bright colors in their artwork. As you pass along kind of the outer wall, you see that there are these colorful awnings that are covering the guards that are lined up along the wall. I am going to, let's see here. I'm going to need Shio, you're leading, or you decided to lead this group. Can you roll me a d20, please? Oh, perfect.
Nice.
Can you roll me another d20, please? All right.
Not bad.
So, as you are, sorry, can you give me the walking order? Y'all walking? If you
Yeah.
would
I guess
like,
I'll be in the back because I have no idea what's going on.
what we can do is, let's see here.
I'm walking right next to the gentleman, the Olmec.
Olmec.
Is that what it was?
Amal.
Yeah, Olmec.
Amal.
Amal.
Yeah.
Kind of somewhere in the middle, I guess.
What am I missing? This one.
Shadow's walking towards the back because it's taking her a while longer to walk than normal. Dragging her gimp leg.
Verlassen offers to carry Shava for a while.
No, don't
Get her-
touch
to
me.
get her.
All right. So in the top right, you see that there's a party sheet, right?
Ooh, I see.
Sorry,
PCs?
top right. There's an eye and then like three heads
Oh,
of people. If you
yes.
click on that, it'll bring up this kind of party sheet thing. On the right side, there's a tab that says order. So what you can do is you can grab your icon, and
How do I grab it?
you should be able to drop it on, or maybe not.
The whole like
Maybe not.
window.
Maybe I had to do it. Okay. I'm gonna say the right side is where is the front. So you got Omal. Crow, you said you were next to him?
Yeah.
Okay. I know Shava, you said you were back, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Not that far back.
I'll fix it. I'm just kind of getting an idea.
Crow, I guess.
That's the front.
Stop.
I want to be right by Shava.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Okay. Just everybody else in the middle. What do you want?
Yep, that's fine.
Crow or something.
Yeah.
I'm actually a ways behind, getting distracted by various merchants, offering to trade various trinkets with them.
Okay.
So often glancing up, realizing that I'm far away from my companions, and running to catch up.
Okay.
Um,
Verlassen, where do you want to be?
I have to be in the middle somewhere.
Okay.
Kind of looking around.
Okay, that seem about right.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Sapphire, give me a perception check.
How do I?
So,
Oh,
oofda.
Fun times.
Oof, oof,
occupied. Those trinkets.
Let us see. Let us see. I am going to
Kill your character.
just straight dead. Shava, give me a perception check.
I don't like the sound of that.
So, you see two people kind of run past you. They're about half your height. They look like they've got little cloaks on. They're kind of running past, and they push past you a little bit. But you can see that one of them is kind of holding this ring in their hands, and you feel like you've seen that ring before.
Precious. Two hobbits carrying a ring.
Do they appear to be adults or children?
You would think that they're halflings, and adults, yes.
Okay.
Perhaps teenage years. How about that?
Well, can I use my entangle spell to try to trap them?
Sure. Let us see.
Or is that doing too much? That sounds fun to me.
Let us see your entangle spell.
This is going
I probably could just say, "Hey, you," and see if they'd stop. Let's do that first.
This is like a bunch of
don't do it.
You made it already.
All right. So you say, "Hey, you stop,"
Yep.
and they look over their shoulder, kind of with like a snickering face, and they continue running on.
Okay, yeah, let's
And
fucking bind them then.
Okay, you're vining them.
Okay.
It's happening. So
Can I?
What?
To assist, can I mold earth to make tripping?
let
Make the ground
us.
trip them too.
I'll put you in order. We'll start with Shava first, and then we'll deal with you next. So let's see here.
If Shava fails, I guess is what I'm. I guess that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's fine. So
Wait.
you got a 20-foot square.
Raven.
That's,
Whoops, I did not mean to do that. Sorry.
I don't know if I should have clicked that yet. Anyway, go on.
So you're using Entangle?
Yep.
Okay. Level 1 spell, 20-foot square. And basically, to get it so that they're in it, you're going to have to also entangle both Ire and Verlassen.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Does that mean we have to do a strength check?
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
How?
Well, Acid thinks this is kinky.
What's your DC save on that? Oh, it's 10. Okay, Verlassen,
Yeah.
you're good. You're able to kind of leap out of the way of the tingling vines.
Yeah.
It's a strength check, yeah. So your vines wrap up the one that was carrying the ring, and he's like pulling on his legs trying to get away. The other one was able to kind of hop and do a flip and roll, and he is not stopping at any point. He is out of there. He's leaving people behind. So you got.
Can I trip him?
So you, what? Oh.
Can I trip him?
Who is that? Who's speaking? What's up?
Verlassen.
Okay.
Use my mold earth to trip that bitch.
You certainly can try. Also, Shala, make sure to take that first spell slot.
Yep.
Okay. Mold earth. All right, you can just do that. You can change the way the ground is. He's gonna make another check to see if he's nimble enough to avoid that. Damn that bitch fast. All right, so he is able to not be deterred by your molded earth, and he continues
Let that bitch roll.
he continues
Aye.
to make his escape.
Okay, well, I'll go over to the one that's trapped. Did you steal that?
And he says, no.
So that's a yes.
No, I didn't steal anything. I
Sidetrack.
don't know what you're talking about. Clearly holding out the ring in his hand still.
You know stealing is wrong.
Your face is wrong.
Can I rip it out of his hands? Do I have to do some sort of check for that?
He's
No.
pretty he's pretty restrained at the moment. So yeah, you had to fight with him just a little bit, but it's nothing that is too difficult for you. You're able to grab it out of his hand.
All right, so I'll look at it.
So you look at it and you see that there's a kind of a it's a singlet ring. You've got like a very regal kind of emblem on it that has thorns on it, like thorny branches of some kind. And you're fairly certain you've seen that on on somebody's something. You saw it. You can't quite place it.
Okay. I'll put it in my pocket.
Okay. Sweet.
And I'll leave the guy there. 'Cause I'm pretty sure it only lasts for a minute. So.
Okay. What about your good friend Ire there?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
He'll catch up.
Oh no, that's mean. Can I attack the vine? Like just slash it?
I
with
mean,
my...
I can try to get out again after 6 seconds.
I could use my flame breath and burn it all.
But then you'd burn him.
Oh, God, it's fine. This is stupid, but I'm fine.
He's like sitting there. He's like, just once, guys, just, I got it. No worries.
Good.
So that small little guy, figuratively with his pants down, is dealing with the vines there, and you guys move on. Ire, you're able to escape fairly quickly.
Do I have that in my inventory, or should I just make a note?
I can throw it in your inventory, no problem. Not Ire, Shava. Item.
I'm very appreciative of the fact that we just have a bunch of random shit that we've collected over the course of the past like hour and a half that we have no idea what it is.
Not my fault.
Taking random crap.
Not my fault, not my problem. That's what I say.
Hashtag
Not
hoarders.
Not my chin, not my problem.
Alright, let's see.
Where we're going?
So you continue on. You pass by another kind of... It's definitely like an upscale, large, grandiose market that puts the red bazaar to shame. And on your left, as you pass by, and then on your right, you see that there's kind of a harbor, and you see a bunch of barges and ships being dragged through these channels, and people yelling, and you see that there are dinosaurs that are pulling these different barges along by the edges, right? So the ship's in the middle, and there's ropes to either of these dinosaurs, and there's people yelling and screaming and just doing their whole sailor bit. Let's see. You pass by a market that has illustrious jewels and gems. You kind of go through an area that's got a bunch of merchant shops and stuff like that. As you let me move this as we're going.
Oh.
Here, hold on. I'm gonna move this, but I'm gonna stop it in just a second. Ignore it. Okay. So you're here. Dealt with the guy stealing shit. You got the market off to your left there. You got the harbor down to your right there. You come underneath a bridge. You got some gems and jewels and stuff like that being sold at the market there. Kind of pass through a market way. Get up these stairs. Yep. What's up?
I'd like to kind of absent-mindedly steal a gem. Wipe it as I walk by.
All right, coming back.
Reminiscent of my last character.
Absent-mindedly steal. All right. Let's see your sleight of
I'm
hand, please.
To myself to give myself inspiration.
Yes, you can get an additional inspiration. So you've got 2 there. So you can use that.
No, my bardic inspiration.
Oh, you're using your bardic inspiration in addition to that. Okay.
Double check. No, sorry, it has to be other than myself. I can't inspire myself.
Okay.
It's not until later.
That's all right. Well, you can use you got an inspiration for being late today. So you can use that to roll advantage.
Okay. So add advantage, sleight of hand.
All right. It's just a small number there. Let me go and give me 1 second. I need to grab a book.
Doesn't matter the value of it. It's just like whatever one was shiny that I was like, oh, this one's nice.
All right. So you do absent-mindedly find what? Or grab one of those gems. I'm just gonna throw a gem as a placeholder, and we'll figure out what it was later. Inventory. Okay. Placeholder. Sick. There you go. Oh, crap. There you go.
Excellent.
All right. Pass the merchants. Oh no, what did I do? Pass the merchants. Up some stairs. And you see kind of like this is definitely a much more regal area here. You see these kind of like villas, whatever. Villas around you, definitely upscale, totally different from all the other housing that you've passed by. You also see that there's this giant temple here in front of you, and there is. You would think that it was a fairly typical kind of temple, except for the extreme use of eyes, kind of on it. Always like an open eye, like it's looking at you or looking into you, but you're not quite sure. What?
Would Crow potentially know what this iconography is supposed to be suggesting God was?
Let's see. Is there a particular deity that Crow is?
I follow Kellumbor. I'm just saying, if, like, you know, any of, like, if I would have come across anything with that. Kellumbor is like, definitely not that. Is like a raised skeletal hand as like the middle of like a balance scale. So
Gotcha. Can you give me a history check? And I'm gonna give you a +2
could I argue
bonus.
religion?
Religion check, and I will give you a plus.
I already have a +2 bonus, so I can just.
Well, I mean an additional, since you were more likely to see or figure it out.
Cool.
As a cleric. All right, so that's a 19.
Yeah.
You are not necessarily familiar with this particular god, but you do realize that the eye is usually associated with any kind of spell work or god that's interested in truth, or kind of divining that, or trying to just see the future, that kind of like hocus pocus.
Good to know.
Is it demonic in nature?
You do not feel that way, just based on what you know. Okay. So he takes you across this nice bridge. You see a lot more villas here, and then you see this giant palace that is clearly made not that long ago compared to the rest of the city, which seems a lot more ancient. It is definitely one of the more opulent structures here. At the entrance, you see that there is an honor guard of 8 gladiators standing there with very little clothing on, but a lot of armor and various types of weapons, uh, most of which are pole arms with giant blades at the end. Um, Omal kind of like nods at the gladiators and decides to walk inside.
And we'll be going with him.
Okay. Nobody says otherwise, right? We're good.
For now.
For now.
Start with the bottomless.
So inside, you see that there is a large queue of people in line, and you see a sign that says "Take a number." And you see that that Omal kind of passes by this queue and goes toward another door that has that same symbol that was on the coin at the very top of the the skull triceratops.
Okay.
And
I follow right behind him.
gotcha. I'm just gonna continue on unless somebody decides to interrupt. So,
Alright.
and I say that so sure assuredly. All right, so there is this. It kind of opens up into this kind of grand room with a throne, not a throne, but like a very well decorated chair, and then kind of like in front of it is this area in which there is a tinier, smaller, frail chair, which really kind of emphasizes like a power differential. And right inside, you also see that there are 2 gladiators kind of posted at the doorway. And Omal, he kind of looks at them, and they as if they already knew that he was coming, said, "Sit in the chair." There are some pews for you to sit in if you would like, that are kind of like behind. Think like in a judge jury situation. You're in the crowd kind of pews, and there's like a light beam that's shining on this rickety old chair, and where Omal is gonna sit, as well as this higher up awesome throne type furniture piece.
This court is
There-
now in session.
Are there other ornate things in this room?
The structure and everything, it definitely kind of the intricacies of the people that created and made and formed all of these pieces of how do I put this? The decorations are definitely that of a merchant prince. You feel that it's befitting. You think that it really, like, if you were to bring someone in to impress them about how much money and how much control you have, this is the way that you would.
There is anything decorated with gemstones?
Almost everything is decorated with gemstones embedded in them. Yes.
To take the gemstone that I grabbed, and I'd like to stash it into one of the guarding gladiators' pockets or underneath a piece of armor or something along those lines.
Okay, sleight of hand, that fellow. I'm also taking away your inspiration since you used it already.
Ooh.
Good as I was hoping for.
And so, and the gladiator turns to you, grasps your hand as you're kind of like holding on to it, and says, "What are you doing?"
My friend, I simply wanted to thing I don't know these people all that well and wanted to make sure that were to happen that I'd be able to make it out of here.
He looks at you, and he looks at the gem, and he says, "We gladiators do not deal with money. We deal with honor. And you
See,
are most dishonorable, leaving your friends."
oh yes, see, I'm not a gladiator. I'm a merchant, and we deal with money, not honor.
Your cowardice is not appreciated. And what he does is he leans close to your face and he says, "You will die first."
Now,
Back away.
Are there any more of those coins lying around?
There are not, no.
Okay.
So Amal takes his seat, and you, besides Sapphire, who is dealing with nonsense at the front or at the back, you kind of wait there about 3, 4, 5 minutes, not all that long, in all honesty, and after that bit of time, an individual enters the room. Let me see if I can throw an image your way. So, in all honesty, she is not dressed in a way that you would think someone that would be in wealth and power would dress. But you can clearly see by the way that she moves that she is of import. So with the crown on her head, she takes her place upon that throne, and she looks calm and contemplative in a way that is vaguely menacing. It's almost it's difficult for you to feel like she is going to be someone that is very kind. And with her, you see that she's got 2 consorts sitting or standing next to her, on either side, and they are these beautiful Chultans, one male and one female. And she kind of crosses her legs and puts her hands to her chin as if thinking, and says, "State your name." And Omal says, I am Omal. I am the master colorist at the We know who you are. Why do you think you are here?" And at this point, Omal seems to kind of break, and he says, I'm sorry. I just needed a way to just make me ends meet. I don't have anything for you. I just don't want to die." The lady on the throne seems to be amused by this. And she ponders for a moment and says, "You say you have nothing, and yet you brought an entourage into my room. Do you plan to threaten me?" He says, No, they are here to, and he seems to be at a loss of words, looking desperately for help.
I'll stand and say, I am one who helps with atonement.
And she says, atonement. That is why you came here. You do know that the rules, or sorry, you do know the laws.
I know what they're for, but if you don't feel like talking about politics to strangers, I suggest not answering any knocks.
Okay.
I mean, they weren't Mormons, but you know.
What?
Sorry, that was my roommate.
Okay, I figured.
What was the significance of them being Mormon or not?
I mean, Mormons knock on a lot of doors, offering, spread the word. So that's the thing, right?
Gotcha.
Or is that Jehovah's Witnesses?
Jehovah's Witnesses are typically the ones that do that, but I'm sure any religious group.
Yes,
I love that religious group. They're so much fun.
Let's see here. I completely lost my. Oh, you came for atonement and blah blah blah. Oh, you you know the laws that are governing here as far as sales, and you have crossed me. I do not do well with deception, and as such, you will have to pay a high price. She ponders for a moment more, and then she smiles, and she says, "You have a choice. There is a person that needs to be eliminated." She's looking at her fingernails, the way that you would expect someone that is looking at their fingernails to, and also talking about something difficult to do. There is a guide who has been dealing with individuals that I am not fond with. Make sure that he disappears, and you will have your atonement. But you must do so in 10 days, or else you will be suffering the gauntlet. And Amal's obviously in a very difficult spot of fearing both options. Obviously, killing a person being a very difficult action, as well as this gauntlet that she speaks of.
What is this gauntlet? I ask her.
The lady looks at you, intrigued by you in particular, looking you up and down, and he says, "Ah, so you are new to Chult. Well, welcome. Welcome to this beautiful city. But to answer your question, I think it would be best if you saw this gauntlet. I will have my men escort you, and then you will have to make your choice."
I'm going to say a guide and kind of cock my head inquisitively at her.
Yes, he's been giving me trouble. I will give you information about his name if you choose to accept. But with that, you must make sure that you tell no one else. And believe me, if you do, we will know.
I guess I will I'll hold my hand and kind of think for a moment as I try to dry out the sentence here. What kind? A guide.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, not only are you new, but you're also clueless. The jungles here are quite dangerous. No sane person would go into the jungle without having a guide. The guides just make sure, well, they can't really promise you anything. They've just spent a little bit more time in that wilderness than you have. This one in particular, though, something is off about him. Something that affects my domain." You can see that she's slightly disturbed by this, but she doesn't really hold that on her face for too long.
Okay. I'll just I'll nod at her then.
I take a step up closer to her throne, kind of bow deep and say, "My good lady, before we talk about any more of this unpleasantness, since it seems like no one has a taste for deciding if anyone lives or dies currently, why don't we check out this gauntlet that you promised us a little view of?"
With that, she nods, smirks, and makes a hand gesture. And one of the gladiators, the one that... Oh, wait. Let me flip a coin here. The one that Sapphire was having a conversation with walks to the doorway and gestures for you all to follow.
All right. I will follow.
Okay. Anybody have any? What do you call it?
Onward.
Okay, great, perfect.
Yeah, I guess so.